vote to accept it,
Okay.
or anything else.
But we can get done with some of that stuff.
Yes,
can't
that'd be
Okay.
fine. If there's any public comment, I mean, we could take that.
we? Back to your dungeon. No.
Let you go back.
Dungeon. My whole-
I'm not laughing, but
I say go for it, that's. Is that okay?
okay. As everyone might have heard the conversation, we do not have a quorum as yet. We elect one more person, and they're going to be here as soon as possible. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and do our financial report, which we can vote to accept or not. And then if there's any other public comment, we'll be glad to be taking the public comment here in just a few minutes. So if that, meet with everybody's approval, I think that's going to be the way to go. We cannot vote on anything without quorum, but we can go ahead and conduct business, and hopefully we'll have a Rhonda here soon and have a quorum. We have people out sick and others with other obligations, so we'll go ahead and do that. I think I see somebody running now. Maybe, we'll just wait and see. Okay, to do that, Becky, we'll recognize you if you give us the financial report, please.
Okay, I'm going to give you the financial report officially through June 30 with some additional information through today. I always try to update it to the current day of the meeting. We closed the year, June 30, 13, with $72,333 in the bank. This time last year, we were at just below, $3 below $36,000. So we've almost pretty much doubled the cash flow. That is testament to collections. This time last year, fiscal year to date, if you look to the bottom of the page, we had collected right at $134,000. This year we collected $156,000, so we have a $22,000 variance to the good. I did just deposit about $6,190. That's the first 10 days worth of collections for July, which would be for June accommodations. So we've got another 9 days before we close the month for collections, for timely collections, so I'm hoping there'll be another 6,000 or 7,000 at the least there. So we had $78,000 available in cash. I've got to transfer $4,172 for June salaries and benefits. I have already calculated, of course, this number will change once I see what the end of the month shows, but I will be transferring about $2,063 at least into the capital reserve fund. That represents 5% of your April, May, and June collections. And I have received or paid bills first 11 days in July for June of right at $8,500. So that's going to leave about $63,793 in the bank available for expenditures. So I'm really pleased so far at how the year is ending. If you'll flip back another couple pages, this is just the operations report. As I stated, we collected right at $155.8 this year. That was above the $140 that we had budgeted for, so we did collect more than what we had budgeted for in just pure collections, and about $65 in interest. And then we have had expenditures posted so far of about $143. So our surplus at the end of June, just a cash basis surplus, was $12,800. I'm anticipating that surplus to be around 10 to 12 once I do all the closeout entries for the audit, which will add to fund balance. So we had done a fund balance projection from last regular meeting, and when you have appropriated some fund balance into this new budget, so we should be perfectly fine with local government commission as far as what our fund balance reserve is for the month. We have added, I've had about 7 calls for new accommodation partners. So probably in the morning I'm going to be sending out some welcome letters. It basically just lines out what we're about, what the rules and regulations are. And then I'll be forwarding that information to Tabitha for the website. That's about the most calls I've had in one little spurt since I've been doing this for 4 years. Usually I get one every collected about $3,000 in late penalties. So people are responding whenever we're sending these little love letters out. They're not happy, but they're acknowledging that what their obligations are. So things are rolling, and we're just excited about what's happening. I do have one thing which you'll have to probably, well, I think you voted on at the last board, at the budget, you voted to approve the audit contract with Turner Hatchett and Turner, audit fee of $4,200. I just need, since the board's already approved it, I just need to get your signature, Mr. Evans. Any questions?
This is what we voted on last time, about the audit.
Well, you got what
Anybody got
you
one again? Blue pen.
Let me dig.
It really is a big deal.
Yeah. So I walked out and I thought,
This is one of my collections. Is it blue? I got blue.
I have pencils, I have a pocket knife.
Don't say
Don't
pocket
say
knife.
pocket. It feels that way.
I'm not supposed to have a pocket knife in here.
No.
I'll just remember that.
I'm not sure. Thank you.
And Rhonda, we had been informed by Becky as well that we had 7 calls. And how long? What period of time?
In about a week.
About a week for new accommodations for those partners.
A lot of most of them are just little cabins. Yeah. We have one like campground and then one, and then most little cabins that little playhouse.
All right, with that, then, is there any question or comment regarding the budget report as presented? All right, then, I guess we could go ahead and we have quorum at this time. So we have a problem. Yes, we'll go ahead. Thank you, Becky.
Bye.
Thank you, Becky. We'll go ahead and ask to have a motion to accept the financial report as presented. We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion or comment? Okay, all approved? All opposed? Thank you very much. Okay, to this, the agenda, we now have, we'll go ahead and back up a little bit. We need to call to order. We'll have a review and approval of minutes. Kathy, would you like to address that?
Yes. Take a deep breath and start reading. The first one is dated Thursday, June 13th, minutes of the meeting. The Grant County Travel and Tourism Authority Board met Thursday, June 13th, 2013 at 3 p.m. at the EMS facility located at 70 West Fort Hill. Board members present were Mike Edwards, Billy Ditmore, Ravonda Williams, Barry Levy, Harold Rogers, Darlene Waycaster, and John Powell was absent. Call to order by Chair Mike Edwards at 3:07. Agenda reviewed and added item to agenda, new business, adding the Cherahela topography maps. Minutes from the May 9th meeting were read and approved. Becky Garland gave the financial report. Total taxes collected are up this year compared to last year, and travel and tourism has not spent as much this year. She will be working on closing out our books for the year. Some penalty notices have gone out to the partners for late payments and 0 filing notice penalties. Becky passed out a budget package to the board members. Motion to accept financial report passed unanimous. Ravonda Williams and Billy Ditmore updated the board on the progress of the new TNT building. Billy and his staff drafted a letter and gave it to Pam at United Community Bank. Pam has forwarded the letter to her region, and we are waiting to hear back if we can go forward. The occupancy tax bill is stuck in Finance Committee, and it will remain there until the state leadership finishes with the annual state budget. Brad Hoxick could not attend the board meeting due to his work schedule, so Tabitha expressed his request to the board. Brad is asking the board to support his trade show budget, a cost share of $1,000. Tabitha shared the statistics Brad gave her. Last year, during this time of the year, they had 0 hunts booked, and this year they have an estimated 30 hunts, which will produce an estimated 90 rooms. Cherokee Whitetail is the only preserve of its kind in the South, and hunts start at around $1,800 and go upwards of $16,000 per hunt. Cherokee Whitetail has also paired with Harris Casino as a comp to their high rollers. A great way to get the name of Graham County out to the public. Billy made a motion to support, Ravonda second, unanimous. Tabitha gave a vision of the new county brochure's layout. Tabitha is working on a deadline for the visitandSee.com website listing for all the accommodations, attractions, and restaurants. Tabitha shared the frustration of Joy's slow computer, shared an example of pulling up a website on the monitor to show lake listings to some out-of-town guests. The speed was horribly slow, with the guests having to spend extra time at the office. Becky gave estimated prices for computers and monitors. The boards discussed the prices, capability, and options, and decided to purchase 2 computers with monitors, a split card, and a large screen monitor for the countertop. Darlene motioned, Billy second, unanimous. Tabitha gave an update about the road and area conditions for the upcoming hill climb. Because of a conflict of dates with the Relay for Life, Tabitha has moved the check-in event to Collins Auto Sales. Billy said Eller's Wrecker Service and Chris Porta-Johns were already set to go, and he would be following up with the Snowbird Fire Department for filling the Jersey barriers, the Sheriff's Department for security and parking. Tabitha has a list on the door and on the website for drivers having problems locating an accommodation. If we get 100 cars, we will have to go to a 3-day format. The new accommodation cabin, Hog Hollow Cabin, is located on Yellow Creek. Discussions turn to the accommodation partner's website. We need to define what we will and will not accept as a website. The board will think and research the implications of the situation. Tabitha will continue working on getting quotes together for reprinting the Cherahela Skyway brochures, county brochure, and the Cherahela topography maps. Mac and Mary Orr from Ebbs Drive-In felt like their restaurant was not being represented by travel and tourism. The board explained how T&T Board obtains their funds through occupancy tax and how those monies are spent. The board invited them to drop off brochures to the visitor center. Beth from Stokoe Valley Center gave each board member the Appalachian evening music schedule and explained about the farmers market. She updated the board about the ongoing visitor survey. She explained we are coming up on a halfway point and we will have a meeting to review the info gathered so far. The board sent up the following names to the county commissioners for the expired position, a 1-year term, of Billy Ditmore. Barry Levy nominated Billy Ditmore, Darlene Waycaster nominated Beth Fields, and Ravonda Williams nominated Layla Mortimer. Darlene motioned, Harold second, unanimous. Budget discussions ensued and key points were discussed. Becky Garland recommended that the board budget worst-case scenario. More information and discussions need to take place to finalize line items. So a motion was made by Billy Ditmore, Barry Levy second, to continue the meeting on Monday, June 17th at 11 a.m. at the EMS building. And then the next one goes to the minutes of continued meeting. The board met on June 17th at 11 a.m. at the EMS conference room on Fort Hill. It was a continued meeting from the regular board meeting held on June 13th. Board members present were Mike Edwards, Billy Ditmore, Ravonda Williams, Barry Levy, Harold Rogers, Darlene Waycaster, and John Powell. The meeting continued at 11:05 a.m. Line items were discussed and decided upon by the board. It was ready to submit to put into final format for public viewing. And then the very last meeting of the month was the actual budget meeting minutes. The Travel and Tourism Authority met Monday, July 1st at 9 a.m. at the Community Building on 9th Street. Board members present were Mike Edwards, Ravonda Williams, Barry Levy, and Beth Fields. Various items were discussed during public comment. The board did not take any action on items discussed. Becky Garland made some technical corrections. Revenues remain the same, but some verbiage has changed based off what local government commission requires. Travel and Tourism now has 2 funds. Becky recommends we pass the budget as a functional budget, not as a line item budget. T&T's audit fee has been dropped to a lower amount based on what Becky has negotiated for the county's audit. Half of Tabitha Joy's salaries have been placed in the category of administration and half into promotions. Becky is considered budget officer and will always come to the board for direction. Our contingency fund is our capital reserve money. Mike Edwards called Kim Crisp, county clerk, for clarity on Beth's vote for the budget. Kim verified as long as there is no personal gain, it was okay for Beth to vote. Barry made a motion to accept the budget as presented. Beth second, unanimous. Becky Garland had all board members present sign 3 sets of the minutes, 1 for Tabitha, 1 for Becky, 1 for the county clerk, Kim Crisp. Motion adjourned, made at 10:36 a.m. by Ravonda, Barry second. Those are the minutes.
Okay, there's one addition that I'd like to make with the board's permission on this. The third bullet down on the meeting for July 1.
Okay.
Council was also present in the conversation regarding Beth Fields.
Council?
Yeah, Don Cody was there, and we clarified the issue with her as well.
Okay.
That's all that I see. I think I marked up the copy you wanted me to sign.
Is that a stapled copy? I've got some stapled copies over here of the double-sided one.
Okay, but if you've got another one, I'll sign it.
Okay.
I get crazy when I start marking things up, so.
There is 3 copies of this one.
Okay. Are those the signature copies? Oh, okay, I don't know, where's it?
Yeah,
Okay, good. All right, that's good.
but I'll go ahead and
Okay,
start passing.
with that, do I have a motion that we go ahead and approve the minutes as presented for June 13th, June 17th, and July 1? We have a motion. We have a second. Any comments, questions? All approved? All opposed? Carries. Thank you very much. All right.
Sign and pass.
All right, we're ready to move on. Then we'll go on to the old business. One, we have,
Mike, does she sign if she's absent? For the
Okay.
one, Darlene? would
no,
be the
yeah,
days?
put absent on the line.
Okay.
Be fine. And, we'll go ahead and go ahead and proceed with this. And we have the old business. First bullet here under this is the visitor center. I think there was some information you might want to share here.
Yeah, I'm gonna give one to Kim, one to Becky, and one for me. It makes it easier that way. They don't get lost in translation. As far as the potential new building, I got news from Pam at United Community Bank, and the bank president received the information. It was taken very well. He called back and asked if we would be interested in purchasing the property. In our original conversations as a board, we were always wondering if they would do that, but we never thought they really would. So the bank's view on it is it would be more neat and clean if it was done that way instead of playing the role of landlord. So he is pulling some reports to find out depreciations, and will get back to us at what they are calling a discounted price, possibly. So, I will know more probably tomorrow. Yeah, but that's some eyebrow raising, potentially very good news. that we wouldn't own our own property.
Do we need to start looking for grants or something, some way to get started, or we? because
I'm not
they
there
come
yet, but again, I'm not the grant expert.
Who is Andy? Is Andy? I know Andy has
So
some.
Mike's a good grant person, Amy's a good grant person, Dale Wiggins is even a good grant person, Teresa Garland's a good grant person.
Well, I'll tell you right up front, you're gonna find it a challenge to be getting
Yeah.
grant monies for
It's
capital
not available
projects.
like it used to be.
No, it's not. But two, you know, you have to look at it, and I kind of got a little heads up about this before a meeting today. And one of the things that stood out about this, you know, you said it was clean, and yes, it is. And the prospect of going into a commitment on the property on a lease basis gets you into a situation to where what happens if the bank closes? What happens if the bank, you know, doesn't want to renew lease? Then it has all that nice stuff, which also Board of Commissioners, and you find yourself in a predicament to where you find yourself hanging out there with an agreement that you end up owning nothing. So we've got to be very, very careful about that. And I know that it looks like a lot of money up front, but you know what? You can do that over time. If you work it out right, if you keep the folks there at the Government Commission, happy about being able to take out land. Two, I'm just going to say this to be quiet, is that I don't know what the county's capacity is and wanting to help with that. It's really, really tight right now, and I don't even have to tell anybody in Grant County that. But, the prospects of being able to at least have some surety on it. And another thing that I mentioned is that there's a small piece of property that I think this board had looked at previously, a very small piece, right there at the end toward the scoop. Is that the name of the business right there? The scoop. There's a small piece of property right there that just kind of it borders that of the community bank property. But we've gone and looked at that and have hadn't considered it for a place to go and put a visitor center there. But once our inspector got to looking at it, it's nothing but utilities.
See, that's the piece that she said was
Right.
okay for us to use, because
Right.
we can only probably do parking.
Right.
And no kind of a asphalt service, it has to be a pervious service, so
It's also under
the water.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's got all the
So it
things
was
wrong.
true nothing but parking and aesthetic, like
Yeah,
a statue
We thought
or,
it'd be great for picnic tables, just to make some people, have a place to, because it's
Pull over.
there's a beautiful spot, like the creek back over. So we thought it would just add to the beautification of the whole site to.
And it is in any room whatsoever for parking to get in and out. I looked at that the other day, and I know you have one place to get in and out there on the bank property, and I've just thrown this out there, we probably usually have a way in and a way out, than trying to get everybody coming in. But that's all down there. But one of the things I really see us doing is, like you're saying, is exploring everything about, and first of all, are the numbers. I think you said that the bank was going to look at possibly, and I'll use that word here, but possibly discount on the pricing of the property. And they could stand to make some tax credit on it, I'm sure, with what they want to do. So I think, and I'm an interim guy, and, but just sitting here listening to this, I think it'd be better off to own the property. I really, really do. And yeah, it's going to cost more. But once it's there, it's there. So I hope that we can get good numbers from them on property prices.
So you're talking about UCB selling the property as opposed to?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes more sense actually, if they would
It
do
really
it.
does.
We never thought they'd do that, that's why we're going in for long-term lease.
Yeah.
We never, because they've been approached before about selling.
Well, I've been in this long enough to know that leases can get very, very sticky. And you never quite can get it all covered. But if it's a clear deed, clear agreement to purchase, and then you stand better. And then too, one of the things that I find is an advantage in that also is that it can stand collateral, for any subsequent loans that you might have to have for the facility. So, it's got all kinds of pluses about it. It'd be something this board to make a decision. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not ready to make a decision
yeah,
today.
no.
And not until you, like you said, get the final numbers on what it is. And then to talk to the finance, talk to Becky. So, we have to go through budget and finance and the commission. They're the ones that will let you or not let you, because we overextend. And that whole business of having that fund balance in a place to where you can actually go out and take out a loan. And there was something that I heard mentioned, you may have to explain it to me, is that the county would stand good Is there a
Well,
way, what
if
was that
the
about?
Traveling Tourism Authority ever were disbanded, the monies that are coming in from the hotels have to go to somebody. So you guys would be collecting the money if there was no authority.
But it still has to be spent on travel and tourism.
Right, so through those monies, you would be paying the loan.
Okay, that's on the scenario that travel and tourism no longer exists. Is that what you're saying?
The board authority no longer
Okay,
exists.
all right,
Yeah,
well,
because those monies are still gonna come in.
well, I'm sitting here and I know, I'm on the board of commissioners and,
Right.
pretty much, there needs to be an independent travel and tourism, you see, but then come election time, it may all change. I don't know. But I hope everything works out where there is an independent board. There's already too much politics and things. Not that we want to play politics with this particular board, our board, but it's important to have it independent.
Okay.
I would like to see us try to, I don't know, of course, we're gonna have to wait and see what their offer is, but, I mean, I don't want word getting out and us getting some kind of bid report, you know what I'm saying, as far as the cost of the property.
No, I think that was a discounted price specifically
Just
for,
the county.
it sounded like a help the county, help travel and tourism, help the courtiers.
Right, good.
And Tabitha, it may be premature, but also, if the bank is gonna sell travel and tourism and property and it gets approved somehow, perhaps the bank would also work with you on the loan as far as giving you a,
I'm not sure if the local government commission, I don't know, Becky's been talking about local government commission, those folks. I'm not sure if we're allowed to go get a loan somewhere else or if it's through them. I'm just hearing things and tilting my head like, that's different, but
there's rules.
I'm learning. Yeah,
When did anybody ask if they would donate them selling the property?
today,
Just today?
yes.
Not long ago.
Yeah.
Sir?
Did anybody ever ask if the bank would donate the property? It'd be great PR, and you get a write-off.
But it'd be good practice, they got a write-off and the money. I understand what you're saying there. I don't know if you could approach them with that or not. You can always try. I mean, be amenable to it because it is substantial. for
Hey,
them.
Kim, I
They're not
appreciate the
using
low
it.
price.
No, they're not.
It's just
We
sitting
got
there.
that right.
Yeah,
better.
how much of a write-off do you need this year?
Better deal.
Well,
Yeah.
and he's checking his depreciation, if he's already depreciated that completely off, I don't know that would be.
You don't depreciate land, so I don't really understand why he's checking on depreciation. Land doesn't depreciate. You don't,
If you have it listed as an asset on your balance sheet, it does.
nobody in any of the CPA firms I've ever worked for has ever depreciated land. The building does, but
So do you think
not the dirt.
that's probably all connected to that one piece that the bank is on possibly?
I
That's why
think He said he was pulling
He was
reports,
there.
so that would make sense.
Maybe.
Yeah, and another thing too in that is, the county had said that it would donate, or would donate. I think the way that the county has to do that is they have to surplus the property. I think that's the law. Is if the property would be surplus, I'm talking about the end out where it's good, that would be surplused out, and then, you go through all the hoops that you have to about giving the property to you. So, again, Mr. Warner, right?
Yes.
And, speaking to that, if we're talking about having a survey, I think it's one of the things, so apparently it's having to have a survey that it is part and parcel, it's all together. And they would have to go and divide that and separate it out.
And that would explain why he's checking his depreciation.
So, whatever that might be, so it's kind of premature for us to look at that, but I would do that, I think it's good counsel, go and say, hey Pam, how about
By the way.
just give it to us?
Yeah.
How much do you stand to make and compare it?
Okay.
And see how that is, because sometimes they'll go that route. Because, land was
Put it on the
donated.
building.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Be proud of the light on that building.
Yeah, if that's the case. But that's good news, and it's going to present a lot of other challenges, there was challenges anyway, but I agree completely that, as you said it's a lot cleaner to do that when you have the property yourself. So I know, and this again, I tried to divorce myself away from the county commission deal, but, you know, if that would come to us and, you know, it said, can we borrow money? And then the local government commission, those are the ones you have to release.
Yeah.
I've tried to explain that to everybody that I can. We as a board can't just go and decide to do this, that, or the other. They tell us yes or no. And that's why it's so important to go from an 8% fund balance that we had when this present board came in up to a 25 or 28% fund balance. And I don't know what it'd be for travel and tourism, but that fund balance that you're talking about, you know, putting it in that particular place, you know, at least what you do is you have a fund balance, and that qualifies, you have to have that up there to even qualify to apply for one. You can't even apply.
Okay.
So I'm Becky is super sharp with this.
Didn't she say ours was like 25 or 28?
Yeah, we were doing well the last time she gave us some feedback on a number. And she was pleased with that number, because she mentioned her last one, all about that number, because both of our budgets were going through that. We were both within that, is it 28?
25 to 28. And you know, there's been a lot of resistance to saying, well, how can you say you don't have money? You know, you don't have money to operate, and yet you have 28% in a fund balance. And I said, well, you know, we have to have that in there by law, you know, to even be able to qualify for any type of bonds or anything else. And it's more complicated than I ever did.
Yeah,
It was.
that's
But-
good.
But that's what it is. And that kind of goes right into the next thing.
Well, that's good
Tabitha.
economics.
It really is.
This whole country would do good for everybody to have a requirement.
Oh, yeah,
Federal
25%
savings. Yes.
contingency fund.
Exactly. So we can save for it.
But the General Assembly, in all their wisdom too, is trying to figure out every way they could to get that fund balance too, by the way. So, but that's where we're at. That might be a good thing to talk about when we get into the issue of the occupancy tax.
Well, and I'm gonna try and speed this up, because I know you guys need, that we need to get.
It's going to be here.
Yeah.
They will run you out.
Okay. But occupancy tax, to my understanding, is Greg sent an email to Jim Davis. He knows he received it, but we've not had feedback as of yet. Yesterday's bad press, the New York Times didn't do North Carolina very well. They're talking about what a bunch of horrible people we are down here. But, you know, they're really trying to hammer through budget things before they get to other things held in committee. So we have not heard anything about our occupancy tax. We do have some folks that don't agree with the increase in occupancy tax, and then we have some people that really understand in order for us to grow and have that long-term vision, we need to have a little bit more in our coffers to be able to do a little bit better with. So unless you've heard something today.
Well, no, our county manager does a weekly update for the board,
Okay.
and on that, and although it's not confidential, the bill is still in the finance committee.
Okay.
Which if it's gonna be anywhere, it's a good place to be right now. I mean, it could be just gone away. But, you know, what happened with this particular bill, you know it already, is that Jim Davis had an empty bill. It was just right there in line, and we were the first ones to come after it. So we got his empty bill that was there that could be submitted. So we were the one that got his empty bill, quote unquote. So that's there, so, and it may end up, and I'm just being honest with you, that it may not come to the next session. But with that, you know, they can get, from what I've been hearing is that they're just having a battle over trying to do tax reform. They're up there playing marbles. And it's sad to hear all that, and a lot of things are being frozen that need to be addressed over the issue of trying to do something for tax reform. And that's going to be it. And if everything's hanging contention on them coming up with an agreeable bill, you know, of having to do with tax reform, then nothing's going to be done. I mean, I hate to be negative about it, but that's everything I'm hearing. But it is in finance. It is in the finance committee where it was the last time we talked.
I'm gonna move on to the next item, if that's okay. Piece of old business, I think it was 2 months ago when we discussed road tripping. with WLOS Channel 13. The time, it was a $5,000 commitment. It airs on the TV in the morning time show. It is a 1 minute, 30-second kind of commercial each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then they do a replay of the synopsis on Saturday. And I've been seeing these commercials more in the evening now, believe it or not. So if you've seen this little SUV going across your screen and road tripping, they're doing Bryson City this week. So this is something that the board did not want to go forward with last time we discussed it, but I was discussing it as us pay for the whole thing. I would like to bring this back up because they're willing to give a discount. And we might be able to cost share this out with some partners in the community. So like one of the segments would be places to eat, another one could be a place to stay, another one could be an attraction, another one could be, it's whatever you want to focus on, which makes it easy to find the accommodations partner or the restaurant or the little shop or whatever we want to feature in the community. And that person can pay to play. So that travel and tourism isn't paying all of it, but we do a cost share. I pay for part of it and you pay for part of it. So there was an email sent out a couple of months ago. I'd like for everybody to go back, and I probably need to email you. I bet you weren't here when we had that, Ravonda and Mike. But I'd like for to go back. They've approached Darlene.
Now, I approached them because I don't remember you even bringing it up, and I was seeing if it was free.
Oh,
I was trying to get them to come to the county on a free basis.
okay.
And then my contact at WLOS says there's a charge. So then I started communicating with the person who's over it, and it's usually $900 per day. And I was like, well, that's nothing that Montana Village can do on their own. And then he's like, usually it's businesses, you know, everybody goes in and helps. And then he said he could do it for $500 a day. So being like the resort could go in $500 and showcase the dam and the village and that whole area of Frontenac Village. If we could get other partners that wanted to go in and, I mean, like motorcycle resorts, for $500, I mean, it's not a whole lot of money to pay for that. I mean, like it's,
My only concern with it, and I think I better make this back, because I emailed you back. I want you in the morning when we're getting ready or whatever there at the house, and it's Channel 13 on Baxter. And of course, we've got satellite. I don't know if is that gonna cover enough of an area for it to be worth your while, or is that just gonna be a local thing?
in the PowerPoint, it had Greenville, Spartanburg, it's all that area. And if she can send that, you might have it.
Well, I've got just, if anybody can see out here, that's your Riverside.
And
Here's a
one thing that we're learning is people in Asheville has no idea that Montana Dam's there, Montana Village. I just spent 2 nights in Asheville this past weekend just to go to shop. But, you know, people come, you know, it's an hour and a half, you know, and spend a couple nights. And Greenville, Spartanburg, that area, we get a lot of business out of there. Because that was my concern, it's like, you know, just Asheville. But I'm just learning a lot about the Asheville market that we're really missing out, especially with the gas prices and all the stuff we have to do here. It's a little vacation for a lot of people. Because they don't have a lake, you know, we have several. And so,
This is a stay, promotion piece from Bryson
The
City.
historic lodge where Southern hospitality and charm are still in style.
Kevin Ulmer is road tripping at Bryson City at a unique staycation destination.
It is a great vacation home away from home in the heart of the Smokies, overlooking Bryson City. I do believe I got the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad in the background. We are at the historic Frymont's Inn. Sue, thank you so much for having us over.
Thank you for coming, Karen.
And I should say happy anniversary. Did you know the Frymont has been here now for 90 years, started by a timber magnate who who really knew his trade, Sue.
That's correct. He was Amos Fry. He built the inn in 1923, and it's on the National Register of Historic Places.
And you can really see the details of the huge giant wooden doors and all the chestnut wood.
Yes, it's beautiful. Floors are all maple and oak, and the walls are all chestnut. There's no more chestnut, so it makes it very unique.
Yes, you can see the details in the guest rooms too. They're here in the main lodge. You have 30 rooms here in the main.
30 rooms in this building, and that includes some 2-bedroom family suites. Then we have 10 additional rooms in several other buildings, a little bit more contemporary with fireplace suites and whatnot.
And all of the rooms here come with breakfast and dinner included.
Yes, they do.
And you're not talking about a little muffin for breakfast and a cup of coffee. You're talking full-on Bryson City Southern breakfast.
Full breakfast, full dinner, order off the menu, whatever you want.
And it really is fun to see people behind us in the lobby chatting, playing checkers. It's like you're walking into a family reunion where they embrace you with open arms.
It is. It's unusual in that regard. I think when you check into a chain motel, you don't meet the other people. But here, everybody's friends by the time they leave.
Well, thank you so much for opening up your home to us. And we invite you to plan your stay at the Fremont Inn from the road trip link at WLOS.com. Road trip to Bryson City on Calendar.
And hence, you might have heard at the very beginning, the point of this, because this is the WLOS television market, staycation. Some folks here might have budget to go on vacation. There are a lot of folks these days that don't have a budget to go on vacation. So the staycation is where it's at. And so for folks that can't really afford, we're a good place for Knoxville, Atlanta, Charlotte, Asheville to come and get away to a place that's beautiful, quiet, or as adventurous as you want to get. So, and that would be the, marking point that we want to make. You can have as big or as little of a vacation as you want while you're here in Graham County. So, if we were to have Darlene's beautiful place, newly renovated, I think we could possibly just focus on all of our accommodation partners, really. I mean, Topoco's it's a historic place just like this. John has a very unique place for motorcycles to come, and maybe we hit that we have 4 lanes, and they get shots of that, and then the hiking capabilities, or Joyce Kilmer, if we could get a camera in there. I think it would be a great piece to showcase Robbinsville.
Yeah, my thoughts were if we had enough individual businesses to kind of make it happen, and then travel and tourism, maybe taking $500, $1,000, whatever, to, like the Joyce Kilmer and the different, that kind of thing. But for private businesses, if they wanted to be showcased, they pay their own.
Is there a minimum? I was thinking it was like $6,000.
I
No,
thought it was
it's,
5, but
well, what he sent me today was $500 a day, and you have to go 5 days. So it's $2,500, but it could be like $500 a business, and this business showcasing.
So they would come in here and do 5 different businesses every 5 days.
Yeah.
In other words, this would be just this reduction right here. That's just one thing.
That's one
that's one
day.
day.
That was yesterday morning, I believe.
Yeah, and then I was wondering to tell the Dragon, is Brad or any of them, if they're, I'm just
I don't know.
curious. Because he probably, if Bryson
Here's
City.
attraction, let's see what
Then go for
they
him.
chose.
It doesn't just air one time.
Tubi.
It does on TV, but on the web,
It stays up on
All
the
the
Like for a
on the
year.
Civic Mountain Train.
Stays in here, just like-
I think it's a year.
It's
I just got into this today and sent this to Sherry. So,
They did the train, so they haven't done the motorcycles like Elwood Grinder.
Would you want to send that PowerPoint that I sent you, like, to everybody? Because that does have like all the.
And it has the, what do you call it, what's the word I'm looking for? The viewership and the
Yeah.
stats and the demographics and inside the PowerPoint.
And maybe it's something that the chamber sends out to the businesses to see if we can get, 2 or 3. Really, all you need is,
I'd be interested.
I mean, like, okay, here's 2 already, and we
And
would,
then the travel tourism.
tourism would be 3, so we're looking for 2 more.
Yeah, you need to get Ronnie Henry.
Yeah,
matter of fact, I owe him.
And I would
today.
become one of my spots if the business wanted it, I mean, you know, I'm just.
Well, the only thing I would suggest about not doing that is because a business is gonna be all about their business.
Okay.
And you're not gonna be able to get like.
See, I'm wondering though, with me, would they be willing to go take some snapshot here, snapshot there, kind of put it over in the background as we're talking
Because you
together?
definitely want to highlight Solid, because there's so many firefighters coming into it.
And Asheville, that Greenville, that viewership is
Yeah.
a lot of mountain bike.
Yeah.
And even, well, Knoxville gets to watch this sometimes. I know of people that know what's going on in WLOS.
Well, like the other side of Tennessee, like Bristol, that area.
Yeah, yeah, that is in their viewership for sure. Okay.
So anyway.
So, but 2,500 would be the minimum, right? We have to have at least that, have to go 5 days. So you have the morning viewer and the evening, so is there a possibility we could have it to be a 10?
It's just 1 week in one town.
So what do they show it? I know they show those of the morning, they show the same clip of the evening also.
Now, I haven't seen
I don't-
it.
I just saw the commercial in
Yeah,
the evening.
That's what I didn't see it in the morning, I saw the commercial in the evening to tell you to watch the morning. They've been doing this.
It's him in a cartoon bus, it's going down the street, yeah.
What time did it come on?
6 o'clock.
Yeah.
6:30 is what I'm thinking.
See, that's why I was concerned about the demographics, who's up at that hour. But if you Google maybe the television station in this area, that's my concern, is it gonna be worth our money? Because like I say, but then again,
If it's $2,500, now we can remember that just to make a minute long with a professional cast like that is way above that cost, so. And we get to, he told me we get to keep those videos and use them how we would like.
but if we're trying to hit the demographics of people who may not be able to afford a week at the beach, then those are gonna be the people that may be able to 6 o'clock get ready to work.
Exactly.
And I tell you, it was a good awakening for me when I first saw the prices on having magazines.
Lots,
Oh.
lots of
Can you say
magazines.
that?
How much was it? $64,000 for a, what magazine was that?
Oh, the one that 64,000 for that
Yeah.
front spread, and each
Yeah.
person paid $8,500
$85 for
for
the
that.
box. For a week, for a month?
For the year,
For the
it's a
year.
one-time publication.
One-time publication.
And this is on another note, if I can talk about this now.
Yes.
About the LOS. If you have, and this is something, you know, like a Heritage Festival or any kind of event, the hill climb, whatever, you can go and be on WLOS TV for free. That's like the lake blues and stuff. That doesn't cost us anything but our time to go up to the radio, or to the TV station. So, just,
Okay.
so, I mean, like if you,
I have no plan for that.
because I can get you in contact to go talk to them.
I need Ted to go with me too.
So that'd be free, but this right here, it's, because it is advertised at 6 p.m., from $500 from a business standpoint, it's doable, but $2,500, not so much.
So Tabitha, you're just gonna send out a blanket email to our accommodation partners and see
Yeah.
who's interested?
There's about 11 folks of all the 100 and some people we got on there that respond to us, so I'm gonna have to find a better means of communication. But again, if you don't answer your email, you answer your email. So, all right, I'm gonna move on, if that's okay with you guys. I'm gonna go through a few quick things, Mike, for the director's update.
Okay, this is on the new business?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
The Heritage Festival was a pretty good success. You guys have probably seen a lot of the information on Facebook and lots of folks covering that. Thank you very much, Lisa, for all the coverage that you were able to put on your online editorial with all the pictures and thoughts, and that's been awesome. And the committee has lots to be proud of for some of the things that happened. I'm not sure if this board's aware, but Hazard Life did not show up. And it was one of those, that was the Dukes of Hazard cars. And so I think in the follow-up meeting, I'm gonna recommend that Hazard Life possibly give us a donation because of the monies that we spent on advertising in various formats towards our festival next year.
You know why?
No, I do not. But at the follow-up meeting, which I think will be taking place sometime here within a week, I'm sure somebody will be able to give us some enlightenment as to what happened there. It might have been weather-related, it could have been a family emergency, but we definitely need to have some contracts for failure, breach of performance and showing up and whatnot. But and the rain did not dampen any spirits either. There was lots of people there, and I also want to challenge you guys, if I didn't see you there, I'm sorry, but to at least show your face one time during the event at some point. Let some people see you while the events are going on. It's going to be important as we go forward to know that the people that lead the town are plugged in as well. So I'm going to be challenging each and every one of you to be sure to show up for even 30 minutes. Friday night dances, unless I'm sick, I'm there for at least 30 minutes, and then I'll leave. I never have done that before, but this year I'm trying to make a point of doing that unless, family I just can't make it. But so keep that in mind. We hosted the Extreme Frontiers USA. It was a lead from the Department of Commerce. That show, it will be airing in the UK and other European countries. It has 10 million viewers. I said that wrong. The last meeting, it's not 10 million, it's 100 million viewers for that show. And there's pictures on Travel and Tourism to see these cats, and you can follow their adventures on Facebook as well. And they still keep in contact with us now, so it's, you never know, it could lead to something even bigger and better in the future, because they love riding motorcycles and they came here just to drive that dragon. So that was great. The hill climb was a successful event. I had to do a lot of last minute items, and I had to go out to the mountain a couple of times more than I had anticipated. So I will be turning in a little bit of an expense report due to that, because I wasn't expecting that in my personal family budget, gas budget, to have to run up to the mountain a few times. So, and again, I think I've shared with this board that we're looking to possibly add another race, or instead of 2 races per year, possible 3rd race. No, I haven't been able to really get out and drive over in the Fontana. We need places with guardrails over there. But I'd like to bring that race, like I said, over towards your side more and let you host it as a fall, winter, possibly thing. Early winter, not late winter. But I mean guardrails maybe. Or we'll let Ted come over and drone around and see. That way it's kind of spread out around the county as to the accommodations partners getting a little bit of help from Travel and Tourism with that event. The Visit NC site for the Department of Commerce Travel and Tourism Division launched as of yesterday. If you've never been there before, it's really a beautiful site. We're going to be able to start adding some pictures now to all the different attractions, the accommodations partners, and even the restaurants and the shops. So that's what I'll be whatever pictures I've taken so far, I'll be uploading some of those. So just go take a look at it. I'm going to challenge this group to find some creative folks. We need to come up with some itineraries. And what that means is when somebody comes into Travel and Tourism, they're here for 3 days and they're a budget traveler, we can pull out the budget itinerary 3-day, lay it on them. They can see everything that they need to do while they're here. Best places for them to eat, things for them to do, places for them to stay if they don't already have an accommodations partner. And then the moderate traveler, and then the luxury traveler. Having those itineraries, we can upload those to the Visit NC site, and that helps drive traffic to our websites and gets people interested in coming here because it's a no-brainer. They don't have to think about it, it's already done for them. Hey, we're just going to do this right here. So we need to maybe think get a group of us together if anybody's interested in coming up with some itineraries. There's some good ones already out there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just need to take, let's just say our big sister next door, Bryson City's itinerary, and take Fremont Inn off and replace it with Fontana Village Resort, or take off whatever place to eat and add our person in there, take their shop off. I mean, it should be fairly easy to do. And then once we get some feedback, we can make some modifications to make the flow of the day's travel a little bit better, kind of compartmentalized. Like if the first day they're out on the Cherahela, you don't want them coming all the way back over to Fontana to eat. We want to be sure that they're eating somewhere over in this area. So that's kind of what we're talking about there. I did attend a meeting with Darlene and her marketing team at Fontana with the CIOPA group about planning for their conference that's coming next year. We're going to be going down there to host their breakfast. And again, that's the Southeastern Outdoor Press Association. So those are your travel writers and fishing writers and things of that nature. So that's a pretty important group that we've aligned ourselves with. Our website was having a lot of hiccups on the current server that we were on, so Nancy and I made a decision to go ahead and move the website from the server it was on to another server, because it's what she has her sites on. She doesn't get the hiccups nearly as what I was getting during the 4th of July. We had a lot of traffic going to our websites, and every time I went to go add the accommodation partners that were open, I couldn't get into the system. So I'd have to keep sending a message, hey, can you reset the server? I had to do it 4 times in one day, and that was July 3rd. I didn't get the accommodations listing up until like 4:30 that afternoon before I left. So we went ahead and made that decision. I've been reviewing lots of emails and calendars. I took a couple of days off at the beginning of this week after working the weekend, and I forgot to put my out of the office message follow-up, and so my emails blew up on me. That is updates.
Have you got any computers?
No, but I know that the order was placed. Taylor should be getting them. It was sometime after the 4th. I'd say probably by the end of this week, 1st of next week, he'll be in there to set everything up. This, folks, has gone over a whole lot better than what we thought. This is now the chosen map instead of the other one. This isn't going to work for every place in town. But for the places that this is working, I need to reprint this. I only have one pack left in my office. This hiking waterfalls on one side and then the fishing on the other. So I think the last time we printed these, which is when I wish Becky was here, between $500 and $800 for about 2,000 copies, a couple of boxes. So I'd like to be able to get, and I've only had one bid on this before. I'm going to go ahead and bid it out to all the printers to see what they would charge, and then I will be sending a polling question out to you guys on this map once I get a bid submitted.
Who did you talk to about getting the map put together?
The what?
Who put the map together?
Ron Johnson.
Ron?
Yeah, we're going to be trying to add a few more waterfalls here. The waterfalls from Deals Gap to the Fontana Bridge, there's like 8 of them. And the only thing that's really listed here, and it's not roadside, is the 20-mile falls. So I don't know any of the names of those waterfalls. I called Marshall McClung the other day, but he was in a meeting with somebody, and he's supposed to get back with me as well. And we probably will take off that Yellowhammer Falls on Ron's property because it got left on here actually too. So every time we reprint these, we pretty much end up tweaking. So if you want to take a look at it, you're more than
I
welcome.
just want to put a bug in your ear on this. David Wood is one of the commissioners in Cherokee County. Their GIS department in Cherokee County is fine. And he has shown me, they've actually gone and put together a tracking map.
Yeah,
And that may be the source of that, I don't know
no, ours is on the back.
why.
Our
But
fishing
They have got this thing nailed down. And he's offered very
was somebody else you were gonna introduce me to as well.
Who was it? Please help.
I'll remember it. I've got it written down somewhere.
Somebody
So
else on another board.
I'll email,
so-
yeah. The lead charge on this one item is varied, but last time we were together as a board, I want everybody to start thinking about that zero filing fee for filing, not filing a zero. For your accommodations partner, we only charge $5. And
Is
Barry
there a-
had mentioned raising that fee,
Is there a mandate by the state, Kathy? or something?
not that I know of, but it's a question that I can send out to the powers that be. But that was, so that people don't forget, and money gets to us on time, and we know who's engaged and plugged in. So it's not anything I'm asking for a decision today, but your friends in this business, everybody needs to be talking to people and see what they think is fair for us to lift that fee to. And if you know people that pay late, or you need to really ask them, what would it take for you not to pay late anymore, not to send in the zero filing coupon on time? Because we don't want to make it so people just can't even do business and keep their head above water. We just want compliance. And then we need to nominate a vice chair, because Billy was our vice chair. And so right now, Mike, if you were to be sick at the next meeting, we would need somebody during the meetings in your place.
And why don't we nominate Billy's replacement on that day?
Yeah, I think if Beth weren't at this meeting, I don't really foresee her missing the meetings either.
She came faithfully even when she left the board. Make a formal nomination. I nominate Beth Fields for vice chair.
I'll second that.
I like how the people that aren't here get nominated.
We'll teach her.
I'll teach her to not show up.
I've got volunteers.
That's pretty much standard operating procedure.
But seriously,
Okay, we have a motion on the
usually
floor
here.
for
Yeah,
nomination for Beth Fields for vice chair. We have a motion, we have a second. We have a discussion on nominations. All approve? Somebody let Beth know.
I will. And then Rhonda, I'm gonna let you talk about your corn sweep challenge.
Well, and this is something that Lisa can help us with, or just some input on. I guess it was at our budget.
It was?
The final budget meeting we had. One of Ronnie Hedrick's big complaints was the trash on the roads, and I agree 100% with him. But you know what, I was listening, it may have been Channel 13 or it may have been Fox News. Do you know that the seatbelt laws took approximately 10 years for people to actually catch on, and it clicked literally that would save their life? So we may be looking, and you know the challenges, but you just look at the clean thing you were doing. But Ham and I were talking about possibly doing, I don't really know how we could do it. Huh?
You said, like a competition.
Yeah, do a community-wide competition. But the thing is, like the bikers only go on the main roads. So, you know, now they come up Yellow Creek because they shortcut Yellow Creek to go to 28 or vice versa, back to 129. If we could come up with some way to get the county involved in the cleanup thing and not just do because y'all just do the lake thing. That's pretty much, you try to do a whole thing.
Actually, the clean sweep started, you've got kind of two factions, but they're starting to partner in together. But you've got Great started the clean sweep, But we partnered in with NC Big Sweep. NC Big Sweep focused on waterways first, but they figure if it's on the roadways, eventually it gets to the water, so they have expanded. So we actually now, in the great, really, and NC Big Sweep kind of combined, and NC DOT combined, all partnered together. We do both roadside cleanups and lake cleanups. But twice a year, the big clean sweep is the roadside, actually. Side cleanup, and then you've got NCDOT and Adopt a Highway. You have a lot of things going on to try to do litter,
Right.
but obviously I'm all for doing a bigger event. We just haven't had no money. I didn't have any budget until just spring. We got a donation, so we couldn't do anything other than just try to organize volunteers to go clean up.
What I thought of was the way that the Relay for Life works. They divide up, there's teams. Mostly those are churches, which is still fine, because those are in the varied communities. But just see if you can get volunteers to form a group or a club or a organization, whatever, in their community. And then just, I don't know how we could create some kind of a challenge. I don't know how we could ever judge it, but if we could just somehow get people involved on that way. But we need to try to focus on cleaning the main highways also, because that's what the bikers are seeing.
But I think one of those components is, as you do it, like you said, 10 years for people to be compliant with seatbelt laws. The more people start seeing this every couple of years, hey, I might want to be part of that, or I need to be part of that as they get older in high school and college resumes and all kinds of stuff. But t-shirts, you can make a killer t-shirt. Everybody wants to be involved to get the t-shirt. Lisa already had, there's already some sort of a competition for craziest piece of trash that you find.
Most unusual litter contest, but that's through DOT,
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, they've got a most unusual.
We can even have one of those as a local, and then if everybody
The
has.
t-shirt contest, artwork, you could always have a contest who can make the nicest t-shirt slogan, a new slogan for anti-litter. There's a lot of contest opportunities. It was just having incentives and prizes that, we didn't have, so.
And I think what we've said is that some of our money can be used for this beautification cleanup effort, so we might be able to use some travel and tourism money to help fund a cool contest to get people more engaged and willingness to come out and volunteer and help in the cleanup efforts. And or, it sounds really corny, but to be involved at the school level at some of the pep rallies, assemblies, something like that.
Or even get the Boy Scouts to adopt a certain section or the 4-H. Now, Teresa said the 4-H used to do that.
They have to be about 12 years old, I think, with the written approval from their parents, but
Yeah, that was my
handles.
concern, was the liability. Teresa said it got where it wasn't safe, but it was primarily because of the crap the kids were finding. Apparently, the meth heads are cooking this stuff in their vehicles and then throwing their apparatuses out the windows. So
They do pretty good things about media. DOT does some really good media stuff. Any updates that they have, I mean, they sent something out just recently that I didn't even know about, these portable meth things that are just in 2-liter bottles, So they send out things very, very well, and I make sure to send my volunteers, don't pick up anything that you even consider, suspicious. And so, but yeah, they have to have permission from the parents.
And so when are your two cleanups? When do you do them?
This fall, I've done it lately. In the last couple of years, I made it a 2-week event because I find that people doing it on their own time within a 2-week period, I get more volunteers than just hitting it one day. So it's between September 21st and October 5th. DOT, like I said, NC DOT has their fall litter cleanup, and that's when they send their employees out. So you really have to coordinate with them because they send their employees out to do a lot of the secondary roads, which is what we're also, picking up a lot of too. So you have to kind of coordinate it with them, but there's plenty of roads, and there's plenty of roads they don't hit, plus the main roads, and the main roads.
Well, that was my main concern, but then again, you've got more of a liability risk there.
But the main roads are actually safer.
You think they're safer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Your main roads are way safer. I mean, I do Sweetwater. I've got an Adopt a Highway on Sweetwater Road. I would do that all day long. Even before it was Adopt a Highway, I let my kids come with me. Once I signed up for Adopt a Highway, though, which they're really bummed about, I can't let them do it because of their restrictions. But I mean, you've got Mountain Creek and East Buffalo, I mean, those are dangerous as anything, and they're really trashed. I mean, they're bad, but I think your main roads are because one, and DOT would probably help you out. You can borrow their signs too if they're not using them. You know, you could borrow the litter signs if you're just much more visible.
Yeah, this county is so into sports and athletics also, you may be able to get each of the football teams from middle school to high school, the volleyball teams. I mean, there's like almost so many kids are involved in sports, the band. Let them each take some area and go do it.
I love the challenge
They have a
idea.
competition who picks up the most trash.
Except
Absolutely.
one day after practice or in place of practice or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the incentive thing is, I think you could definitely do that if you just have prizes to be able to give them.
Well, now, me and Teresa Garland sat down, or actually me and Tabitha may have, we do commercial construction. We have bids that go in all the time. I see the companies we bid against and I know who gets the jobs. I sat down and made a list of 11 companies, but now I included the mowing companies too, and we're all busy. I like I say, I'm in on these bids, I know how they're going, and I'm not above going and asking for donations.
It will benefit all the businesses.
Exactly, especially the food places, because the food places are benefiting from all the tourists coming in,
And that's what we're seeing actually on the sides of the road.
Yeah.
I mean, I told my husband when he opened the pizza place, I said, the first box I see on the side of the road and your butt's out there cleaning it. Even though it's not you doing it, it's your stuff that's, creating trash now. It's new stuff to go out on the road, so.
I would like to see Travel and Tourism sponsor this countywide cleanup, and we'll put something out there to each community to try to form a group, go into the schools and ask the different clubs, the sports clubs, whoever, to do something like that, and then coordinate with Greg and whoever.
And just, it's our 5th year anniversary also this fall. So if we could, at least put that somewhere in, to kind of celebrate all that also, that would be really nice because, it's 5 years this fall that Clean Sweep has been doing
Come up with
this.
some
So.
kind of a slogan, take pride in your county or something.
Yeah, probably the Graham Star will help to, put it out there, maybe.
They've always been very good about putting the Clean Sweep stuff out for me. I will say that.
Well, I'm sitting here listening to all this, and I know Lisa and I had the conversation with regard to enforcement. I'm on the committee with David Donaldson, and doing recycling. But my thing that sticks in my craw is, and I'm really right to the point, I think we need to change it from, saying that it's a $150 fine. I think we should start out a minimum fine. And I imagine $1,000. Maybe $1,500, and then burn somebody.
Put it in the paper so we burn them and embarrass them.
Well, the stuff that just flies out of the back of pickups
Well,
is
yeah,
what,
that's
that
something,
just
that's
drives me mad.
something you need to take,
And my
you need to take care
crew,
of.
my crew is guilty of that.
And,
My husband is guilty of that.
and I know that we have ordinances because, you led me into wanting to see that and to understand what that was about. And we need to have those places in enforcement. And because really a lot of it, and I don't want to put it all on the local folks, it's not just local folks that visit. I can't understand how anybody could roll down a window and throw out, fast food, anything.
We had a motorcycle go by the other day and they were eating something and they threw it on by the office.
But, that's one side of it. I understand the competition of things, the volunteers that's involved in keeping the roadsides clean. And I understood what Ronnie was saying. I really do. And, it's, but the battle is folks need to understand. It wants to be that if you come to Grant County, you throw garbage on the side of the road, and you get caught, you're going to pay.
Yeah.
And what?
You're going to pay. That's going to be the enforcement on it. That needs to be it. I think a part of it needs to be a fine, and then they need to come clean it up.
So when do the commissioners meet again? Next Monday?
Yeah, we need Monday.
Can we bring it before the commission board that we want?
Anybody can bring up anything you want to bring.
Recommend raising those fines?
Yeah, that'll take an act.
And then what
I
happens?
think
What
the
happens?
first fine, 500, to let people know that we want business. I do think 1,000 would be,
I think minimum. It
yeah,
needs to be
but I
first
could see a
minimum.
family with a child that, let's say.
Well, mine's done that once.
Oh, yeah, I know. But there's some families nowadays that are not,
But
they're still not gonna do it.
You've got to enforce it. All the signs, I mean, I remember telling you guys months ago, I said, you've got all these really nice signs at the dumpsters and these people are sitting there,
That's it.
and just sitting there right in front of you. I mean, really, you got to enforce it. They're laughing.
Oh
They're
my
laughing
gosh,
at you.
Lisa, there was a guy I saw, and I went to the town garbage yesterday morning, and there was a guy and a lady and somebody else digging in the dumpsters, and I said, you need to say something. Well, they just look like they're collecting. No, you need to ask them, wait a second, that's usually locked. So I rolled down the window, are you guys with the recycling? And both of the guys said no, but I didn't get an answer from the lady. And I said, excuse me, why is that unlocked? And he goes, I've lost my keys. And I said, so you're not collecting cans out of there and bagging them, right? He's like, no, I accidentally threw my keys in the trash can. And I thought, oh. And then the lady came over, and she was actually the man person working the station. But at least I have the guts to ask. Whereas before I just thought, those stupid dumpster divers, or why are they doing that? I mean, I actually said something, so it's rubbed off on me, It can rub off. I mean, I would have never said anything in the past.
So what, you said it was just something the county could do, we don't have to get state approval or permission to raise.
Well, that's what I would have to find out, because it is an ordinance, and there's a process for establishing the ordinance.
Yeah.
You have to have a public hearing, lay it out there.
That's the way we can pay for the new tourism building.
Absolutely.
You can pay for lots of things if you actually
Really?
enforce your,
Enforcement, and,
you pay for an enforcement officer.
yeah, you want to do that, and it costs money.
But I would like to see travel and tourism sponsor, go in with, make a big to-do out of the 50th year anniversary of this. And I'll go around door to door to some of these businesses and get gift certificates or donations or whatever, and have some prizes, and get some groups involved, and make this a community thing, and clean the county up.
Here, here.
I mean, the town, I think, is doing an excellent job with their benches.
Yeah.
All of that got started.
Town does looking really good. The weed eating, all the cutting, the trimming.
So maybe if we were to approach the communities, they could do the side roads, and then the school groups could do the main roads, because they would be open, maybe just go into high school possibly, or middle school.
Yeah, so I'm hearing you talk about a team division, like school teams.
Yeah.
A church division, a business division, and a communities division for establishing teams.
And they adopt or pick a section of highway that they want to clean up. And it wouldn't necessarily be the adoption like she did on Sweetwater, it's just this twice a year kind of thing.
Okay.
And just go from there, see how that works. Because, I understand the controversy about drinking, that's a moral issue, but throwing trash out is just nasty. There's no excuse of being nasty and lazy.
Heck, especially when majority of it is alcohol. Sorry, I just had to throw that one in.
And usually on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, you go out and find yourself a beer out.
It's amazing about how many I count. I was counting in 1/4 mile stretch, and I counted almost 30 beer cans in 1/4 mile stretch
How many
that I
did you
picked
find
up.
that were full?
Full? No, I don't. I don't find them full. East Buffalo has pint bottles. That's what they're famous for. There's somebody that, and I was told that they know who it is, but they throw out pint bottles. Yeah, so, and actually the high schoolers, I wasn't supposed to publish this, but the high schoolers did make a comment when they did do it a year or so ago. They went and cleaned up. The number made the comment that, hey, Miss Duckworth, I thought this was a dry county. And I mean, so right there, so it makes its point.
Okay, where we at?
Last minute thing here, I forgot to even add that little point, but we were talking about destination marketing, making this a place for people to come and reason, because it's the destination. Geocaching is a big part of how you can become a destination area. There is a geocache close to us, the Hatfield McCoy Trail. And even their aerial map, their geocaches are in the shape of a pig. So it's like an aerial geocache. They've drawn the line, they've gone and planted enough caches to make the outline of a pig. We could actually, I'm gonna contact these people to find out, because they said if you would like, we'll get the ball rolling to bring geocachers to explore your destination. We might want to adopt some sort of a little symbol that from an aerial perspective, be able to draw the outline of a moonshiner jug, or a bear, or some sort of a symbol, a tree, a something. So if you've never done this geocaching thing, there's lots of little videos about some of these destination places that you can go to. Columbus, Georgia has geocaches up and down their Riverwalk. Cache Calhoun, that's along their Riverwalk as well. Helena, Montana. So as people go and do these geocaches, they can turn in passports or these little cards that at your geocache it has a stamp. You can stamp the little box according to the cache, and when you get your card filled, you can come turn it in for a t-shirt or a geo coin, a collectible coin. These things really turn geocachers on. It's basically technology treasure hunting. And kids love it. They think it's the best thing in the world, and it's one of the cheapest things you can do as a family. It hardly costs any money except for your GPS unit that you either buy or you download the app on your cell phone. That's probably a cheaper way to do it. And so that's a new fall-winter activity that I'm going to look into for us to see if we can get them to help us get on our way. And I've even thought about the snowbird geo bears. I think we have 4 bears in our county, and it could be that ECBI might help us fund some t-shirts and coins for just having a geo bear cache for the snowbird bears in our area. So we have 2 separate types of caches, and then that way the Indian culture for our county that isn't very well represented for a number of different reasons. Locality is a big part of it. That might bring that cultural awareness to our area as well. And we might even be able to link it in with their bears and have them have a geocache over there. These kind of ideas are good to share with your big brothers, big sisters. So I wanted to make you guys aware of this.
One of our guests just suggested that to us, and he's actually going to do a geocache on the front of our property. Because
I have one on my property.
We don't want people just traipsing in.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that, their name may not be motorcyclists, but regardless, it's evidently gotten pretty big. It's in the millions of people that do
I've
this.
had over 1,000 people touch my front property to pick up my geocache in 5 years.
How many?
1,000 at least. And I have another one over at the Snowbird Bridge, and I used to have one at the handicap ramp over at Santillo, but that one I found out not long ago, it disappeared, so I gotta go replace it. But yeah, it's fun. Fun. Make them easy so that young families can get out and find them easily, because there's a bunch of hard ones.
The health department has been doing that for the last
Yeah.
2 years for their getting fit stuff, and we've joined it, me and the kids, and it's fun.
Oh, it is fun.
Yeah,
It's
I love it.
Good times, good times. So that's it for me, sir. We're at 4:35.
All right, the next item on the agenda has to do with other businesses or deems necessary. Of course, we'll talk about the next meeting as we have adjournment.
Yeah, I don't think there is any other businesses or group. Anybody?
All right, we have now time for public comment. Yes, sir.
A few meetings ago, there was a request for funds for a special event, and somebody on the board brought up, we should have a form for these people to fill out before they just show up and say, make a decision right now because I need $5,000. And I'm just wondering if anybody's done anything. Somebody actually on the board also said, I know that other counties, travel and tourism boards, have forms. So maybe you don't need to invent the wheel. You can go steal one from another county. But it just seems to me like that makes good financial sense, to ask all the right questions when you're not put right on the spot. You know, what's your budget? How many people, you know, what are you gonna do with the money? And that way you guys would have time to review it before your meeting, without having to have open debate, you know, with, you know, I like the idea, I don't, you know. It just seems to me like it's good business. Just fill out a form and give the information ahead of time, so you don't have to make a snap judgment.
So it's kind of like a pre-application?
Right.
Is what you're saying, then?
Right.
To do that.
Darlene shared one with me. I've got the one that Bryson City uses, and Bryson City has made a real cut dry. This is the only thing they do. I would like for us to stay a little bit more open. Ours is just about finished. I kind of dropped the ball with all the deadlines I've had in the past 3 weeks, but I'd say by next board meeting, I could bring it for y'all's approval for us to go forward working on that form. But it is, Darlene shared one with me, and then also I have the one from Bryson City, so I kind of combined the two worlds, but
I can help you with that.
yeah.
I mean, you want me to?
It's basically showing, you have to attach your budget to it and show what you're spending the monies on and for. Past successes, I think, is something I picked up from Bryson City.
Fontana Dam, the town of Fontana Dam has one too.
I think it was you, Darrell, that mentioned that there was a form.
Yeah, I mean, I can,
Yeah.
Is there somewhere on that tells us where else they're asking for funding?
Not that, but that's a good suggestion, if they're requesting funds from any other group.
Private donations or whatever.
I got one other thing. Is anybody manning the office on the weekends at all?
Right now, I've been opening it up on Saturday morning at about 9, and then coming back and locking it usually 6:30, right when it starts dusk.
But it's not.
But
it's
there was
not
one
manned.
day during the Heritage Festival, what was the last day that, at least I told you I was so loopy, was that Saturday? I forgot to go back and lock the door. So I came back Sunday morning before I went to church, and I locked it that morning.
But it's not manned.
No, I would like to get a volunteer group, if somebody could work, say, 4 hours, 4.5 hours in the morning, and somebody else could do 4.5 hours in the afternoon.
That's what I was gonna suggest. Andrews gets, I mean, obviously weekends are big. There should be, it's a sin of a shame, we don't have anybody in that office on the weekends. I'm not saying you should be there working it, but Andrews gets, they've got a women's club, they've got a gin rummy club, quilters or something, and they give them really spiffy t-shirts and little badges, and they get, so you got 3 or 4 little, you know, ladies on Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4 that are quilting, but they man the place.
Okay.
And Bob Ferrero over there said that they've had a blast doing it, they love doing it, they're happy to give people information, they're doing their little club thing at the same time.
And maybe twice a year at Travel Tourism, we hold a breakfast for them, or a
Yeah.
luncheon or something. and
Oh,
just
yeah.
Show our
They
appreciation
love
for
that.
them.
Yeah.
They love that.
Tabitha and I were talking about that. The group of volunteers at the clinic is some of the most devoted ladies I have ever seen. I worked there for 5 years, and those ladies love working there. But Dr. Johnson always made them feel special, you know, and I think if you do that, you're
And
volunteer.
the problem that I've run into in that, and I think this has a large part to do with why it's important for so many people like us to be engaged, is my circle of influence is different than Mike's. It's different than Ravonda, it's different than yours. My circle of influence has not been very good at getting volunteers to come help me. We're just gonna be real blunt about some stuff. But maybe Ravonda still has some friends in her circle of influence,
I have
the
no
ladies. You're not supposed to tell on yourself that
Did you report
bad
that?
way. But I think that some of our
Bless your
circles
heart.
of influence might be able to help in this area, where some of us have fallen flat on our face. Am I really red on camera right now, Lisa? Because, I mean, that was the challenge even with the Heritage Heritage Festival. People were asking all these questions after the fact, and I'm like, well, when we have our meeting next week, you're gonna come with me, aren't you? Because we've got to get more people engaged in the activity in order for it to become a growing, viable success. And it's the same thing, we've got to we got to be able to reach out to our friends and say, hey, can your circle help my circle? Otherwise, it won't work. So,
Well, now, I would like to see a group of volunteers get together and adopt different hiking trails.
oh yeah, because right now somebody mentioned the Sandhill bike trails were cleaned off, but Nancy said, Tabitha, those things are probably grown up because nobody's used them. And I thought, could have had to be it. You're absolutely right. Every bit of work that we probably did is for naught because nobody's used it. Not that I know of, not the kind of tromping that you need in order to keep growth down.
Yeah. I don't even know where they're at. There's no signage or anything.
Not that I know of. Yeah, and, that circle of influence, I mean, they probably need more members as well. They need more people that
You
are.
said that there was a bike club. that
There
started
is.
here.
Jason Sawyer, the rec department director, has a group that they're the ones that cleared a lot of that trail.
Yeah.
Um,
So where is, Great was the one that started that one. Where are they? Have they kind of run out of funding and run out of?
I'm sure
spending?
that's like Great has 7 to 9 legs on it, and one of them is a recreation leg. Dave Dodson's, I think, part of that leg, 'cause it's about the waters and the lakes and streams and trails and all that. So, I think a lot of that has been this recycling, and a lot of push has been put towards that, but I don't know. The Great meeting is
July 18th.
next Thursday, so we'll probably get some good. Have you ever been to one of those, Rhonda? Guess what? You need to mark it on your calendar, because next
You been
Thursday
to-
you're gonna go with me.
No.
Yeah,
We're
it's right here at the high school.
We're supposed to be in a bike camp.
Oh, well, if you've got a different.
If I could ever get my husband raised.
Tabitha, that committee should have a meeting prior to the great meeting. So what you're wanting to know what's going on with signage?
Yeah, signage
Or-
and what the trail system looks like. I mean, if we put a brochure out there and a family went out there, are they gonna feel like they're walking at Grizzly Adams, or?
You know, I haven't gone either, and I've been wanting to go, but that's why I haven't gone, is because I don't want to go by myself, and I'm, it's a new trail kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Dale Wiggins, I know, has worked heavily on that also,
Yeah.
but you're right, it's more Jason Sawyer's kind of area, but it is part of the committee. I'll ask David
I would like
for an
to see
update.
this bike club develop to a bigger group, keep those trails and the solid trails clear, and let that be one of the off-month events that we do.
And the
We host a bike-
Knoxville track, and it's like those folks that do marathons. Your cousin, my cousin, Keith Hill, Keith and Karen, he says that they've been wanting to come over and do an event over here. But I guess it fell upon deaf ears for a little while, and it hit the right people.
Nancy said that the way the Santigua Trail's laid out right now, it's just one direction.
Right, we
You
talked
have to
about
back
that.
up on
It
the
needs
road.
to make a pebble trail along the side of the road so that you know that's the connector
Yeah.
from the back to the front. If you were gonna run the full 20 miles. Not
Well,
me.
see, that's one of the things I need to do. I mean, with the, I chair the
You
RP.
tell all your friends.
Yeah. My friends are all elected. That's pretty bad. But anyway, with the RPO, which is the Rural Planning Organization I was telling you about, you see, that's one of the modalities that they talk about with CDOT. Of course, right now, they're wanting to do away with a whole lot of that, pedestrian walkways are kind of falling away in priority.
Thank
all
goodness we
this
got
stuff.
done what we got done, what we
Yeah,
got done.
absolutely, but the thing of it is, it's still in there, and they've changed the funding formula and everything else, and I'm having to learn that over again. But it's gonna be based up on, it's gonna have a state category, then it's gonna have a region, and then it's gonna have division, and then inside the division, they'll have the district. Inside the regional, there's the divisions, and then you're gonna combine the two big divisions. Division 14 is going together with 13, so we'll be able to compete for funds. It's more competitive, and divided up the percentages of money in a better fashion. So with what you just said, if that's going to be a finishable loop of an existing project already, then it's going to be able to have more
Higher
points.
priority.
Yeah, than something that hasn't even started.
Okay.
So that's the kind of thing we need to hear, because.
Yeah,
we don't hear-
apparently, you know how Solly, it has these nice loops where they kind of
Yeah,
come back.
absolutely.
But this one doesn't. There is a possibility, from what I understand, and help me, Lisa, if I'm wrong, I think there's a couple of potential loops, but one of them goes out, and then it's 3 miles away from where your car's parked. So you would have to run along the highway to get back, and there's enough shoulder space, Nancy says, to make some sort of a connecting path, just so that you're not running in the road.
Right.
And you can
So,
tell it's a
yeah,
connector.
and that's what we're saying, if it's on a highway and it's state maintained.
143.
Then that needs to be brought up to where, that can be completed, or at least make some effort for widening, or whatever might be done to finish up that loop.
Okay.
Because if we don't know that, if that's not brought to the table, then it's not even considered. And I'm
This is
wondering-
one of those canoes where there were some people rowing in different directions, and then everybody kind of got off the canoe, and the canoe
Well,
just
I'll
sat
tell you,
there
when I
still.
first came into this position on the board commission, you go to these meetings, and there was no way for anybody to decide, well, you need to do this project, or do that project, or this, that, or the other. We have to get our act together more better. We haven't arrived yet. But this comprehensive transportation plan we're working on right now, it's gonna help us make those decisions. Right now, we're just doing, they'll do a bridge here, we'll do a patching job here, or this, that, and the other. It's just catch when catch can kind of thing. If we have a plan, then we know what we're gonna be doing. And that right there's perfect. I mean, you get me the information on that, I'll take it, I'll bring it to the table.
Okay. Because those meetings are, that opt-in group, that's all going on right now.
Yeah, that's the regional division, we're doing the region, and plus we're gonna end up, in the Cherokee County, we're gonna end up with a comprehensive plan and a comprehensive transportation. And the rest of the counties, they've already had theirs finished, and that's where we are in the line, so.
Where's Division 13? Is that'd be further east?
It'd be farther east, yeah, and I don't know exactly where it's stationed. But that's what we need to do, and on this right here, I was looking for the little bicycle, I don't see a bicycle in this legend. There are little bicycles on the map,
Okay.
but I don't
Do you
see-
have the bicycle trails on here?
well, I do see one here, and I
That's
see
on the
one
back side.
in Solid right here,
Yeah.
right there's one, so.
Is there one at 20 mile? Is this us, or is that Swain?
That's probably Swain, it's in the park.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make a deal out of it, let folks know that those are there. Because some of these in Solid, they need to come on over here if you've got them. And I mean, that's just how it is, and I don't see it on there.
Lisa, we need to, Megan doesn't get back into town until this next Wednesday, maybe that following weekend we can go walk together. Ramona might want to come with us. I've let her down for the past couple of mornings walking.
that's fine.
You know, walking.
We're not doing the full 17 miles, but I'm sure we can.
Two miles, maybe 3 mile if y'all drag it. Anybody else that wants to come experience the Santila bike trails? Okay, but yeah, I have not seen, and you're right, I mean, there's the waterfall legend, but there's not a little like.
Yeah, I mean, it says right here for Solid, but we do have those available.
We need to showcase some more. I mean, that's out there, but it's more associated with.
Because like I say, I would like to see us, that would be a fantastic event to hold in some of the off-season, because cold weather's not gonna affect you, it's not gonna matter.
Oh, by the way, my zombie run's gonna have a new twist to it, because I went and saw World War Z, which is a zombie movie,
Oh,
and those zombies hauled butt. Those were fast zombies. There's none of this slow, these were like track star zombies. So we're gonna be having some track star zombies in our zombie run. I don't know if that'll take off this year, but
Have you figured out where we can have it yet?
no, that's part of the, I was disappointed to hear that trail system might be grown back up, because I was kind of hoping to.
Well, but if we're not gonna do the zombie run till October, right at Halloween, we've got 3-4 months.
Remember that circle of friends and volunteers? I'm a party of one. Ta-da! This is not get it right now.
and I'm a temp here.
Huh?
I'm a temp.
Yeah.
But anyway, Tom Thrash had some property, didn't he?
It's got lots of property.
It's up on Is it not up on Snowbird though?
Yeah, they talked about having a rock climb out there, and it was a big hot issue over that, and they didn't want to do that.
Oh, was that the ATV trail that they talked about? The getting in and out of that community is what set people on fire. They were kind of ticked off about it.
Is it Snowbird? Is that where it's at, or
I think he's got all over the county, actually.
the big?
But you might talk to him, yeah, maybe good spooky advice.
What's his name again?
Tom Thrash.
I hear a circle of friends over there. that-
What does that mean? Yes? No?
Spooky.
Or all
I
your
know,
friends are like-
we're on the other side of a lawsuit with him, so it's not necessarily.
That's a
circle
good
of
circle of friends. You're
You
gonna
know,
be real out.
that doesn't bother me. You know, I mean, I understand.
I hadn't thought about that, just to get out on, the only thing is you've got a liability issue there if we let someone, if someone lets us use their property.
Yeah, but you can spend $295 and get a short-term insurance policy for an event.
And a waiver for them to sign.
And that's the reason why I said if we hire those people that put on the events, they've already got all that stuff taken care of.
Okay.
It's all their people, their volunteers, they do it all, they keep all the money. That's why I want to incorporate some of those people for a couple of years until we
So we don't have to have
understand.
friends.
Yeah.
We can buy them.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna be working on for next meeting.
What?
I'm gonna find me a friend. Embark. Okay. So we've gone through the public comment, any other things? I understand your business is up and going? Is that your
No,
name?
we're building rental cabins. They're not open.
Building what?
Rental cabins,
Oh, okay. The ones in the trees?
yeah.
Where they got it from today? I heard about that.
Trying to keep it kind of quiet.
Well, it's not counting.
This is Robbinsville, sir.
Yeah.
Where everybody.
I'm
goes to
sorry.
drink.
We just said trees. We did not say anything else. Trees.
River's Edge
They are real.
Treehouse Resort.
Well, now it's really.
I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan.
He just let the cat out.
I mean, it's already, yeah. I mean, if I know it, I have any friends.
Yeah, we're gonna build,
He's not gonna tell anybody, you don't have any friends.
it's a little place, we're only building 6 of them. 6 little tree houses.
I think it's great.
And you're just right on top, you know, now that you said it, you know that show Treehouse Masters?
Yeah.
People
Everybody
are
loves
looking for those
tree
kind of
houses.
places.
Yeah, brings out the kid in
Okay, we have any other public comments? The next meeting?
Is going to be Thursday, August 8th, because the first is on a Thursday. 7 days later, that's really early in the month, but it is the 8th.
That is the second
It
Thursday.
is the second Thursday.
Same place.
Same bat channel, same time, same bat channel.
It's like I was taking all your.
All right, someone's gonna let Ms. Fields know about her new position.
Yes,
We learned about her that.
yes,
Okay.
with gladness and bells on this afternoon.
There's no closed session business?
No.
Okey dokey, do I have a motion to adjourn? Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we're all in favor of adjournment. Thank you very much.